Good morning. Let me adjust this a little bit. Okay, that looks good. So good morning. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Dave. How's the shed? Hi, Key. So my husband is doing, usually he does yoga on Saturdays when we're in the studio with me. But now he's out in the studio by himself, I guess with his phone or maybe a tablet, because I don't know. The dog might go crazy if he tried to do yoga in the house. It's hard to say. So Saturday morning, I hope everybody has something marginally fun planned for the weekend. The weather looks good. Probably good time to work outside in the yard. Yeah, I thought about, well, yeah, so yeah, everybody should play music if they want to. Dave says he's listening to the yoga playlist, but I don't know how music would, I think it might interfere with the audio. And also, I'm pretty sure broadcasting other people's music on your videos is a no-no. So we're just going to avoid all that stuff and have the sound of birds and dogs barking and cars driving by. So I haven't noticed um, until you hear a car go by how few cars have gone by. We live right on the main street in Delaware City, which is not saying much. It's not much of a main street, but there's certainly a lot more cars normally than there have been in the past month or so. So it's notable when you hear one go by. So we'll wait till about 5 past to get started. Okay, 5 minutes past. Let's get started. So, uh, let's see. Yesterday we did a little mantra work. So let's talk about mantras a little bit more. We mention them sometimes in class. Um, they are a really great tool for focusing your mind, for kind of getting a handle on what's going on in your mind. They can be very helpful. So, one technique that people can do is actually, so mantras are more effective the more they are repeated. So you don't have to repeat them a lot in one session, but over time, right? So just like everything in yoga, it works best in, smaller quantities over a long period of time. It builds up. Um, so people can work on mantras their entire life. They can choose one. They can move from one to the other. Usually, you want to stay with one for a fairly good chunk of time, just to build up that sound and that vibration. Some people have set times when they do mantra. It might be part of their meditation. Some people carry them kind of all day long. Uh, One use for mantra is to kind of fill those empty spaces. So many of us, probably most of us, have this kind of running dialogue in our mind. Um, and it can be just random things. Sometimes it's very destructive things. Sometimes we have this sort of negative voice that's speaking to us a lot, telling us, that what we're doing is wrong or our choices are bad or whatever it is that we have kind of this script that's running in our head. And we're trying to break those scripts. We try to change them, but they're hard because they are pretty well settled in there over time, right? So anything can be a mantra, bad things too. Um, what we can do is fill that space. So instead of the negative, we have the positive. Um, and once we learn the mantra, we hold the mantra, we can think about the mantra. And over time, it can become what's running in the background. So instead of thinking, wow, that was dumb. Why did I do that? I always do dumb things. So dumb. We're thinking, oh, mani padme hum. We're thinking something that's just running. And we're not even thinking, it's just sort of happening. Um, and it can fill those empty spaces. So if you're interested in mantra, I have books and things I can recommend to you. Um, but just know that it's a tool, and it's another tool that we can use um, to help sort of turn our life in the direction we want it to go. So let's sit and breathe for a little bit. Sitting up tall, shoulders back. Notice sensations you may be having in the body. We always want to adjust our practice based on that. So you may have an idea of how your practice will go, and you may find that's not going to happen. Um, be open to that change. Right? And it happens both ways. Sometimes we drag ourselves to the mat and find out we feel pretty good and we can do much more than we thought. I'm bringing hands together. We'll send out a little chant into the world. And I'm going to leave some space. So if you want to repeat it after me, you can. Best way to learn mantra is just to repeat them. Deep breath in. Om. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasa Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. One more deep breath in and out. I'm going to move back. For warm up, sitting comfortably. Let's bring the arms up overhead. And then out to the side. And down to the mat. Inhale, lift them up. And down halfway. And then down to the mat. Walk your hands out. And stretching. Back up, hands behind you. This time let's turn the fingers so they're facing toward the body. And gaze up. Back up to your seat. Let's bring the left arm up overhead, and then we're going to bring the elbow sort of on top of the head and bring your hand down kind of by your cheek. And we're going to gently sort of, I don't want to say pull, something like pull, but not really pull. Just moving the head over toward the left side. Back up and switch. Breathe. And then release the arms. Left hand on the right knee, right arm behind you. Sit up tall, take a twist. Back to center and switch sides. And back to center. Tabletop. Sitting back on the heels. Child's pose. Coming back up. Let's lift the right arm high. And then bring it under. Back up. Lift the right arm, and then we'll switch. Left arm lifting high. And coming down on the shoulder or the upper arm. And back up. Child's pose again. And let's move into rabbit pose. So, same thing, kind of as child's pose, but if you have the knees apart, we're going to bring them close. Reaching back for the sides of the feet or maybe the ankles. You just want to have something you can kind of hold on to here. We're going to tuck the chin, so the crown of the head, right? This top part of the head should be reaching down toward the mat. It may not be quite there, and that's okay. But you don't want to have your forehead, right? And I mean, unless that's as far as you're going to get, and that's okay. But if you think about it, we want to have, a little weight resting on the top of the head, which is a very different thing than the forehead. The top of the head, we're still directing straight down the spine. When you're pushing on the forehead, you're tilting the neck. So we don't really want that so much. If you are only able to get the forehead down, then very lightly with the pressure, you don't want a lot, right? But I'm trying to talk this up because I'm not going to be able to talk when I get down here. So I'm just going to do it and you can see. So we're tucking the chin, reach back for the heels, sides of the feet. And then we're lifting up the hips. And then come on back. We'll bring the fists out in front. Stack one on top of the other. Rest the forehead. And moving back up, tabletop to downward dog. Walking out the legs. And then stepping the feet up to the hands. Be in your fold for a few breaths. And then rising up. Standing tall in your mountain. Breath in and out. Inhale, lift arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, right foot steps back. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Moving back, downward dog. Inhale, forward to high plank. And lower down. Inhale, lift. Just kind of head and chest here. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And lower. One more, lift. And lower. Moving up again. Tabletop to downward dog. Take one more deep breath, and then we're going to step the right foot up. Left knee drops down. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step the back foot up and fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift the arms. Back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, left foot steps back. Drop the knee. Arms overhead. Hands down to the mat. Step it back. Downward dog. Inhale, move forward to high plank. Hold here. And lower. Inhale, head and chest. Lower. Lifting head and chest. And lower. One more. Lifting head and chest. We're coming all the way up. Moving back to your downward dog. One more breath. Left foot steps up. Right knee down, arms overhead. And then hands to the mat. Back foot steps up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lift. As you inhale, exhale back to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. On the exhale, we're going to step back with the left. Drop your knee down, arms overhead. Hands to center, take a breath, and then twist. So you could hook the elbow here, kind of guide your way into this twist. If you want to be more upright, bring your hand down to the knee, pull that right shoulder back. Come on back to your center. We're going to bring right hand down to the inside of the right foot. Left arm lifts. And then let's switch. So left hand down onto the mat, sort of near the edge of the mat, right, to balance yourself. Right arm lifts. Both hands down to the mat. And then you can stay right here. You could walk it out a little. You could come down onto the forearms. That might be a lot. Still early, right? Maybe just resting some weight into the hands is where we want to be today. It's where I am anyway. Then walking the hands back. We're going to be straightening out this right leg. You might need to wiggle it up a little. Give yourself a little more space. And then maybe folding forward. See how much space you have today. And then bend the knee again. We're going to set the foot down. Hands up by the foot. Flip the back toe and step up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lifting. Back to mountain. Take a breath in and out. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, right foot steps back, drop the knee. Arms overhead. And then hands to center. Breath in here, then take a twist. Hook the elbow or stay upright. Just turning through the shoulders. Back to center. Left hand down by the foot. Right arm lifts. Both hands down to the mat. Right hand. Actually, we'll do that first. Right hand down, lifting up. Left arm. And now both hands to the mat. Shifting some weight forward. And walk your hands back. Straightening out left leg and then maybe fold over. Set your foot down. Shift the weight a little bit. Step the back foot up. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Lifting on the inhale. Back to mountain. Take a breath. And let's do some balance. So, start with tree. Standing on the left. We'll bring that right foot in. Might be a kickstand, might be higher. Holding hands to center. Steady. Extending the arms if you want. But holding that center. Right? If you're not feeling steady with the center, don't think the arms will save you. They won't. And then bring it down and we'll switch sides. Standing on the right. Nice and upright. Shoulders back. Set that gaze. If you set the foot down, then just try again. You don't have to hold it the whole time. You may need to adjust. You may just not be that balanced today. No worries. And then set both feet to the ground, bicycle out the legs. And let's step out into a warrior three. So we've got hands together. We're going to step out the left foot to start, shifting the weight on that side, leaning forward. So as we lean, we're lifting. So if you're going to lift a lot, you want to lean a lot. Hands to center, maybe airplane arms if that helps you. But again, don't rely on the arms. They're just kind of the last thing. You need to have that strength and structure from the standing leg. And then set it down. Switching sides. Breath in. Step out right. And lift. And set it back down. Bicycle legs. And then come on back to the mat, up to the top, arms overhead. Let's interlace the fingers, flip the palms. Kind of stretch, you maybe lean back a little. Fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, step back to downward dog. Inhale, high plank, and lower down. Head turns right. Take a few breaths. Come on back to center. Setting up for cobra. We've got hands about chest height, elbows back, close to the body. On an inhale, lifting up head and chest. Hover the hands, tops of the feet, press into the mat. And lower. Head turns left. Relax. Head back to center. Bring the arms up, out in front. Stacking one forearm over the other. Tops of the feet. Press into the mat. And then we're going to start lifting up. Head and chest, arms together, and the legs. So the forehead is kind of stuck to the forearms. Then lower down. Head turns right again. And back to center. We'll leave the arms by your side. Palms rest on the mat. Tops of the feet. Press down. We're going to start lifting up, head and chest, and then lift the legs. Lift the arms. And lower. Head turns left again. And then when you're ready, we're going to start moving back up. Tabletop to child's pose. And then tabletop to downward dog. Step the feet up. And we'll come down to a seat on the mat. Soles of the feet together. Sit up tall. Breath in. Fold forward. And come on back up. And we're going to do that cow face pose again. I'm going to turn to face you because it is a little, it's a complicated, I guess, a little bit. Left knee out in front and the foot back by the right hip. Right leg comes across. Trying to stack the knees as much as possible. And then we've got a hold of each foot. Take a breath. Lean forward. And then we're back up. Switching. So now right leg is underneath. Knee points outward. Loop that left leg over and then sit up tall for a breath, then fold forward. Back up, both legs out in front, arms overhead, breath in, fold forward. And come on back up. Bend the knees. We're going to bring soles of the feet to the mat. Maybe scoot up a little so you've got some room behind you. Lowering down. Take a few moments to get comfortable here. And then we're going to hug that right knee into the chest. Left leg extends long on the mat. And let's do some ankle rotations. So we're just rotating the foot around. I'm going to the right, but you could go either way. Right? You'll probably hear a lot of creaking and cracking. Just move slowly and carefully if it feels kind of crunchy, let's say. It's okay to take your time with it. And then just reverse, whichever way you were going. Come back the other way. And then we'll stop that. And we're going to start lowering this right knee out to the side. So you might hold on to the top of the knee or maybe the thigh just to give yourself some support. Just opening up through that right hip. And just go as far as you feel comfortable. It doesn't have to go a long way. You just want to feel some stretch happening. And again, I mean, we say this all the time, but it's true. As long as you get to the point where you feel some stretch, you feel some effort, then you're at the right place. Even if you've only moved an inch or two, that's where you are today. That's where you need to be. Bring that knee back to center. And we're going to draw it across the body. So rolling up on that left hip. Try to keep the shoulders on the mat, but I find that my shoulder, the opposite shoulder always comes up some. That's okay. And then back to your center. Switch legs. Left knee hugged in, right leg long. And let's rotate the foot on this side. And then coming back, opposite direction. And then we'll stop with the ankle and start lowering that knee out to the side. Breathe. And then bring the knee to center and keep going across the body, rolling up on the right hip. And then back to center. Extend both legs. Take a couple of breaths. And then bend the knees. Gut soles of the feet to the mat. Setting up for bridge. Heels back, close to the body. Hands by your side. Press down, hands and feet. Lifting up. If you want to interlace the fingers, you can kind of roll the shoulders under. And breathe. Release the hands. Rest back down. Bring soles of the feet together. Knees apart. Take a few breaths. Feel the belly rise and fall. And from here, let's just move into Shavasana. So you can stay right where you are. You could extend the legs if you want. Whatever is comfortable for you. So just find that place where you feel steady, comfortable, supported. Let your breath be peaceful. Keep that focus on the breath. Notice the sensations in your body, the sounds in the room. Let go of any thoughts that pop up. You can't stop the thoughts, but we don't have to pursue them. We can just sort of notice them and watch them float away. We are the observer. So consider it kind of like a parade, right? You're watching a parade go by. There's a lot of noise a lot of activity, a lot of things happening. But you're just observing. You're not really participating. Um, you could participate if you wanted to step out and join the parade, but you aren't part of the parade. The parade is something separate. It's your choice. You could just stay on your porch, observing. And when we think about the other things, the thoughts, the emotions, the feelings, as a parade, right? Something that is really, you didn't organize it, you didn't start it. It's just, hey, it's just outside your house and you don't know, you're watching it go by. Um, but it is your choice to be there or not to be there. Um, you can participate in the emotions, or you can just observe them, feel them happen, and let them go. And when we choose that level of kind of separation, it gives us a chance for perspective to try to understand why we get so upset sometimes. What are those things that set us off? Triggers is another very overused word, I think, lately, but it's a good word for this, right? We all have these buttons or triggers that are very complicated. They can be set off by a series of things or something unusual. We can understand them if we can observe them. If we are so deeply immersed in experiencing that emotion, we can't see, right? We can't see the forest for the trees. We're beating our head against that tree and we don't see why or where that came from. Um, so our only hope really of trying to manage what's going on inside is to get a little perspective, step back, don't be so engaged. Right? I often think that that's one of the wonderful things about getting older is that we have the perspective of age, of length of experience. We've seen ups and downs. We've had them in our own life. We know what happens. We can still be surprised, don't get me wrong, but um, we also um, feel that we understand our own cycles and the cycles of people around us a little better than we did maybe in our 20s, for sure. Um, so take advantage of that. Use that to your advantage. Don't allow yourself to get caught up in things that come and go, right? Feelings, emotions, thoughts. They're just what they are. They have no more meaning or significance than that. We hold to the spirit, which is unchanging. And when we listen to that voice, it never steers us wrong. When you feel ready, we're moving again. Fingers and toes, hands and feet. If you want to stretch, then moving side to side. And eventually making your way up to a seat. And we bring our hands together. Thank you for coming out this morning for some yoga. Not really coming out. I don't know. There's got to be another word for that. Appearing here on my screen. I hope that you have a really good rest of the day, a nice weekend. Enjoy the good weather. And until I see you again, namaste. Thank you. So tomorrow, no class, but I'll be back on Monday. Hi, Linda. And, every day until, the end of time, maybe I'll just be here doing yoga. Okay. Anybody have questions or anything? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to end the stream then. And have a great weekend.